I mean, I'm not like a licensed counselor, but I do have my own life to tell as a story, and our own, struggles and friends that we know. And I'll say, depression is something that probably affects everyone at some point in their life. Don't you think it's an issue that is so pervasive that it could lead to all kinds of other things? But there's surface issues and there's root issues. I feel like depression, can be a root issue sometimes, where you go through long seasons of not feeling good enough. And I think one of the, I guess just to sort of open my, life up a little bit, there's been seasons where you just don't feel good enough. Here we are doing what we love to do, playing music for a living, but there's always times where you don't feel good enough, or you feel like, you're just not happy. And there's people around you constantly that tell you all kinds of different things. I mean, you really are greatly affected by your friends. You're greatly affected by the people you hang out with, whether they're saying, whether they're treating you cool if you're into the cool thing, and then they don't like you when you're not into the cool thing. That just happens all the time, and especially in music. I mean, come on, we're musicians, we're in rock music, and it's like, if you're on top of the charts and things are going good, people are calling you, and then if your song isn't doing so good, or you're not, then it's like, oh, no one's calling, I wonder if, that affects who I am. But, I'd say, for me personally, the battle is one that, and we sing about this all the time, I think, as a band, where it's an internal battle. It's a war inside, is the song I'm thinking of off our latest record, The War Inside. And it's an internal battle because no matter what you do, you could struggle with this. You might not be a musician, you might not be in the public eye at all. You might just be, in your line of work, or at your school, or, in your class. And someone's, just makes you feel like you're not good enough. And it's an internal battle where you have to take that kind of criticism in your ears and figure out how it hits your heart, figure out where it goes, what do you do with that. And, something I've always tried to remember is that it's not what you do, it's who you are. That's important. Whether you're a student working at Taco Bell, or maybe you're not old enough to work yet, or whatever, and you're just in the mix of a bunch of kids at home, and you're living there, and maybe there's unrest, or maybe there's a pecking order in your friendship circle. There's all kinds of things that I've lived up through, and I'm sure you have too, that will tell you that what you do makes you important, or what you do makes you who you are. But I'd say it's who you are that comes first, more than what you do. So I'm a guitar player for a rock band, but that's not who I am. Who I am is rooted in my family, my wife, the people who love me, my faith. The things of who I am are internal, and it's almost like a solid ground that no matter what kind of waves hit you of what's cool or not cool, or what people are saying or not saying, those waves crash. But if you've built something that's on a foundation, then you're not going to be blown over. And depression is one thing that is a sign that the winds are blowing on you, a sign that the tempest is high and the seas are raging around you. But there's hope, and it's not all is not lost.
One comforting thing for me is just to remember that even when you're feeling at the bottom, the most down, the most lonely, you're not the only one who feels that way. And there's, even among our community of friends that we travel with, we all go through periods of that where you're away from home or going through a season where you're just feeling particularly lonely. And the step of reaching out and sharing that with somebody, that you're going through that and opening up to somebody, that always seems to turn it around, to be able to say, hey, I'm feeling this way. Have you ever felt this way? And guaranteed there's always somebody who's right there or been right there. And that's the lies that inside your mind it feels like you're the only one who's going through this or the only one who's felt this way. But we all go through that. We all go through depression. We all go through dark times, dark thoughts, and getting out of that a lot of times is just sharing your story with someone else and having the guts to talk about it.
Bringing it to the light.
Yep.